Hey YouTube, it's Jessie J, the PA, with another video blog regarding my first year in PA school. So currently I'm on spring break, which is really exciting, a nice break from the monotony and the stress of school. So I figured I'd take a little bit of time to give you guys an update on what's been going on the past couple months. A lot of the same stuff, just more school, more patient interaction, a lot more hands-on experience. One of the exciting things that took place not too long ago was we were fitted for our white coats, which is extremely exciting. We have our white coat ceremony coming up in June. And for those of you who don't know, white coat ceremony is kind of the rite of passage from didactic year to clinical year. And it's kind of your growing up phase, if you will. Because the white coat kind of signifies that you are now a medical professional, a clinician, someone who is able to provide medical education and treatments to patients in need. And so with that white coat, it kind of holds a lot of weight. And so it's really exciting to be moving closer and closer to that stage of education. So white coat fitting, fantastic, great. I feel like I was a little more excited than a lot of other people. Maybe I just have a hard time containing my excitement and my enthusiasm. But, that's another story. So with the spring semester, it's already been week 9. Actually, no, after spring break finishes, I will be entering into week 10, which is crazy. This semester is 17 weeks, and so it's crazy to think that I will only have 7 weeks left. It's nuts. For medicine, my medicine class, we have already done 5 sections of medicine. So we finished OB-GYN, we finished surgery, geriatrics, neurology, and psychiatry. And so it's kind of flying by. I feel like the spring semester, you kind of have gotten into the groove of things because it's fairly similar to fall semester, so it's kind of just trugging along. Still fairly stressful, I'd say, but you kind of had a whole fall semester underneath your belt, so this is not really anything different than last semester. For EKG, our EKG class is challenging, but in a good way. It's kind of like learning a whole new language in the sense that you're given an EKG slip, and it's up to you to figure out what's going on with the patient based off of the peaks and troughs of the different areas of an EKG reading. So it takes practice and patience, which I don't have much of, but I'm learning to develop because it's kind of one of those things that you have to continue to practice and practice and practice until you become efficient. So that has been a challenge, but very exciting as well. For our clinical procedures class, right before the break, we did knot tying. So after you suture someone up, you have to go ahead and tie a knot to finish the process. Me personally, I thought it was going to be a lot easier than it was. I thought I was just going to go into lab, take some suture material, tie it in a bow, and be done. No. It's very meticulous and has a lot of steps when it comes to tying a knot in the correct way. And they encourage us to practice, because towards the end of the semester, we're going to have a lab practicum when we have to show them that we know how to tie knots and that we know how to suture and we know how to do venipunctures and stuff like that. And so they really encourage us to take the time to practice those things, because once we get out into the field, into the real world, we're going to be expected to know how to do those things. Coming up shortly after spring break is our OSCE, and it's fairly similar to physical diagnosis last semester, where we go in and we see a quote-unquote patient, and we have to perform a physical exam on them. One of the biggest differences between the OSCE and physical diagnosis, what we did over the summer, is that we're not going to be doing the whole physical exam, but we're going to be given a specific task. So on the outside of the door, before we see our patient, it'll say, please conduct a cardiovascular exam. And so it's up to you to go in there and knock it out of the water. And so throughout this semester, we've had several practice sessions when we go in there and kind of refine and refresh our skills. And I was very pleased with myself, per se, and with the program, because when I went in there, it was not nearly as nerve-wracking as it was my very first experience during physical diagnosis. My first experience with physical diagnosis, when I had to go ahead and do a portion of the physical exam, I literally had a breakdown because I was so nervous. I freaked out. I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. I felt like I would never be an efficient clinician, and here I am months later doing something fairly similar and feeling really confident in my abilities. Not to say that I am perfect by any means or that I know everything, but it's really encouraging to feel like I am actually learning something and I'm moving towards becoming a better clinician. So that was really exciting. What else? What else has been going on? I am enjoying my break, which is great. A lot of Netflix, a lot of reading, but not school reading, just relaxing and reading for leisure, which is really great to lounge around and give my mind a rest, because in a couple days we're going to hit the floor running again. Something else that I experienced for the first time since starting PA school, I got to meet with a geriatric patient. Up until this point, I've been meeting with people at the VA or in Shands Hospital, and I never had the opportunity to meet with someone in a nursing home or an assisted living facility in the community. And believe it or not, but, interacting with a geriatric patient is very different than interacting with someone who is younger, just because they process slower, or they have a harder time understanding certain things, or they just need, things broken down in a different way, which is nothing wrong with that. And so meeting with a geriatrics patient gives us as students an opportunity to fine-tune and tweak our communication skills, because you don't talk to every patient the same. And so it was a great experience. My patient was a doll, and it's just awesome. It was awesome to interact with someone who was older, because myself personally, I have a heart for the elderly. I love the elderly, and so it was cool to interact in that way. What else? What else can I talk about? You guys, those of you who've subscribed, or those of you who are just watching just to watch, leave a comment. Let me know exactly what you want me to talk about regarding PA school or the process leading up to entering into PA school. I'm an open book, and I want to help in any way that I can. So if you want me to talk about something... Sorry, the dog. If you want me to talk about something specific, let me know, and I am more than happy to get that out there. What else? Oh, rotations. Something that's coming up in the near future. We start rotations in July, and so the past couple months we put in for our quote-unquote home base. And what a home base is where you decide you would like the majority of your rotations to be at. And so you have the choice of picking Orlando, Tampa, Gainesville, Jacksonville, or Pensacola. And basically, you fill out a form, and you choose your number one and your number two choice. And depending on the amount of available slots, that'll determine whether you get your first or second choice or not. Luckily, everyone in my class chose or received their first choice, which is really exciting, because it would kind of suck to choose one place and get placed somewhere completely different. Myself personally, I chose Gainesville as my top choice, just because I love the atmosphere of the town, and I love Shands, and I feel like it would be a great opportunity for me to learn lots here. My roommates, on the other hand, they chose Jacksonville. And so what that means for them is they need to start looking for a new place of residence, because that's very important. It wouldn't be ideal to start rotations and not really have a solid place to live. You don't want to be, bumming around here and there. So stability is good. The one thing I will say about rotations is that just because your home base is, let's say, Gainesville, doesn't necessarily mean all of your rotations are going to be in Gainesville. For instance, we all have to do an OB-GYN rotation. OB-GYN might not be available in Gainesville, which means you're going to be stationed somewhere else that does offer that rotation. So it's really important to have family or friends who are willing to open up their homes for you for, let's say, a month to crash while you finish your rotation over there. So having a lot of flexibility is important. And that's true about the complete package when it comes to PA school. You need to be very flexible. You need to be okay with change. For those of you who are like me, not really keen on change, it's something that you're going to have to get over because PA school is all about flexibility and change. Right now, I am very interested in 3 specialties once I finish school. Granted, there's a lot of time between now and then, and I will probably experience a lot of things that will kind of sway me towards one more than the other. But right now, they are cardiovascular, pulmonary, and ER. Those are my top 3 choices for what I'd like to go into finishing after I finish school. Kind of leaning more towards ER, just because I've talked to a lot of people and they say that right out of PA school, you want to get into a specialty where it will continue to cultivate all of the skills you've developed during PA school. If I were to choose cardiac right after school, I'm going to really be further developing my cardiac skills and kind of neglecting all of the other skills that I've learned. Whereas if I go into ER, I am guaranteed to see tons and tons of patients with tons and tons of different ailments, and really guaranteed that I'll develop all of my my skills per se. So that's kind of where I'm thinking. A lot of people are interested in primary care, internal medicine, orthopedics, but it's all based off of, what you want and what you are passionate about. But like I said earlier, it's all likely to change once I get out into rotations and I really get my hands dirty. So that about sums it up. I'm actually going to continue my Netflix marathon. I figured I'd stop for a little bit and throw this video up. But like I said earlier, if you have anything specific you'd like me to talk about, please let me know. I'm not just doing these videos just to do them. I really want to help those of you who are interested in PA school, whether that be at UF or anywhere else. So leave a comment and subscribe. All right.